How you doing, beautiful people? This is just a kid here, and today, after many people wanted it, here it is. This is my Juri guide in Street Fighter V. Now for this guide, I'm going to be talking about Juri as a whole, her basic moves, her special moves, her V system, as well as simple and advanced combos, along with the overall features I feel of how to play Juri, so that way you can play Juri like a pro. The stand light punch is 3-frame startup, while the stand medium punch is a little bit slower, but has great potential since it is 5-frame startup. All these different buttons can incorporate different combos as well as different scenarios of when to use them. Her special moves, the foreign Gyakus, or as I like to call them, the store mechanic, is very interesting because once you store it, depending on which one you store, it has a different move afterwards once you release it. So for example, right there, I used quarter circle forward to store up the light version, and the light version, when released, releases a little fireball that travels slowly towards the opponent. The medium version, when stored, turns into a fake overhead that can potentially catch the opponent off guard if they're not blocking correctly. It has decent space, as well as can go into combos that I'll cover in later. I get a fake overhead. This has decent range and has potential to catch someone off guard. Next, I'm going to store the quarter circle forward heavy kick. This version actually has 2 hits and travels at a decent pace. The EX version of the store mechanic actually isn't a store at all. In fact, it is a 4-hitting move that Juri does to advance on the opponent so that way she can get in and cause more pressure and damage. The Reno Desatsu, or as I like to call it, the flip kick, differs depending on the button release. So for example, if I do quarter circle back light kick, you notice I didn't travel as far as normally I would have. However, if I do quarter circle back medium kick, you notice I did a little bit more spacing and I actually hit her from a little bit further. Now, for the heavy version, if I do quarter circle back heavy kick, you notice I'm greatly in the air and I go a very decent distance to hit her. Different versions of the flip kick can differ depending on the spacing. So let me show you. For example, quarter circle back light kick can be different than quarter circle back heavy kick. Notice how it didn't go as far as I normally would. However, if I reset the battle position to in neutral and I do quarter circle back medium kick, notice I go further than I normally did with quarter circle back light kick. This type of flip kick can be used differently depending on the opponent, as well as depending on the resources the opponent may have. And now for the heavy and EX versions, which are the furthest and most damaging potentially. Heavy kick can push them very back far, so be careful of using this. And don't forget that everything except the EX version of this is punchable, so be careful when you use it. Now the Tensiren, or as I like to call it, the DP, as known in the FGC community, is a little mini pinwheel motion that Juri can use depending on the strength of it. For example, I'm going to show all the strengths and then explain them all differently. This is the light version. That is the medium version. And that is the heavy version. The light version of her DP is throw invincible and it is on the ground. This can be used to catch the opponent off guard, as well as go into combo extensions and to escape when thinking the opponent may throw you as an attempt to get you scared. The medium punch version of her DP is actually an anti-air and can be used effectively when the opponent jumps in. For example, notice how Cammy jumped in and then successfully take her out of the air. This can be used in different ways, such as potentially a dive kick or even a simple jump. Remember, if you want to effectively use Juri, you should practice exhaustion, so that way you can eliminate the opponent's idea of jumping on you. The heavy punch of her DP can also be used as an anti-air, but it goes a little bit further. For example, if Cammy is a little bit further back, and she jumps in on me. This will 99% of the time connect, therefore eliminating the idea of a farther jump in. This can be used for those jump ins that you may not think that medium DP will be able to reach, and can be used effectively and potentially give you a good option. Now to talk about our V system. Let's talk about the V skill mechanics first, and then we'll move on to the other parts. Now let's talk about Juri's V skill 1. Juri's V skill 1 is a side switch V skill that can catch the opponent off guard. This can be used effectively depending on which resources you have, as well as how the opponent is handling you. Now, if you store the V skill fully, Juri becomes much faster and becomes a 2-hit Z skill. However, is that you can actually store it and then backdash out of it, or forward dash, depending on which one you prefer, so you can cancel animation and the opponent may not be able to punish you. Let me show you here. Notice how I have it in the bottom left, and now I'm free willing to do whatever I can, and even catch her off guard by doing it again, because it will become faster once it's charged. This can be used pretty effectively, and will put a mind game in your opponent's head of thinking when you're going to release it or when not. But be careful, this V skill, when blocked, can lead to a devastating punish should you use it incorrectly. Next, we'll talk about our V skill 2, which is also a store mechanic, but also is different. Now, when I store the V skill, it does this. Now that I've stored it, it releases a lingering fireball that travels slowly towards the opponent and catch him off guard. Notice how decently far it goes, as well as how much proximity guard it has. This you can use pretty effectively when tackling different opponents, such as Cammy, Karen, and others. When this V skill is stored, it is a very good combo extension, as well as can lead to free store mechanics depending on which one you store. For example, let me show you a simple key thing I do when having this V skill. Notice how I just got a free store once she was knocked down. This can be used pretty effectively depending on which store you would like to have after the V skill is released. Just be careful when using this V skill, because this V skill, when used, can actually have people go through it if they have projectile mental move. For example, with Cammy. Next is the reversal, which can be used very defensively depending on what your opponent does. For example, I'll show Cammy hitting me, and you see what happens. Notice that she moved up in the air, and she is further back. When using this V-reversal, please keep in mind that it consumes one part of your V gauge, so be careful when you use it. Now that we got all the basics down, and we finally understand how Juri EX moves and all her special moves and everything about her works, let's work on simple combos of how to do something. For example, let me show you a combo that I typically use almost every day. This combo uses somewhat of a cancel mechanic that is used when a button is able to be special cancelable and I can go into a combo. Now, this combo starts with jump heavy kick. Jump heavy kick is a really good button for a further jump in. And I use stand medium punch and the stand medium kick into the medium flip kick. Now, you're thinking, how can I cancel? Well, let me tell you. Medium kick is actually a 2-hitting attack. The first hit can be special cancelable and is allowing you to do different combos. So now let's try this combo. This combo was jump heavy kick, stand medium punch, stand medium kick, special cancel the first hit into medium flip kick. The special cancel on medium kick may take time to master, but once you do, it can provide a great resource to you. These are Juri's unique normals. She has a medium kick overhead, a back heavy kick that can be used to catch your opponent throwing, as well as an air throw. These all can be used differently depending on how you play, so be careful when using them. Here's another simple combo. This combo was jump heavy kick, back heavy kick into heavy DP. This combo provides good damage as well as give you an opportunity to store or be able to pressure your opponent. Now, obviously, I won't show all the basic combos simply, so I'll show a little bit more advanced combos. This combo is a little bit tricky, so let me explain it. So first off, we do jump heavy kick, and then we do the target combo, which is stand medium punch into forward or back heavy punch. This target combo can lead to something different, depending on what you do. You can go to medium DP right away after it, or you can do what's better and actually get a store into heavy DP. It may take some timing, but this combo can be used pretty effectively, as well as deal great pressure and give you free resources, depending on where you use it. Here is an advanced combo that may be difficult for people to use, but once it's used right, it can be used pretty effectively. This combo is one of Juri's biggest damaging tools, so let me explain how it works. To start off, you want to have medium store. Medium store allows this combo to work, so that way you can go into more damage and have better resources than what you had. Or you can have the same resource, depending on which one you choose. Now, we start off with jump heavy kick. And then we go to the stand heavy punch into medium release. Then we do, when the opponent's crouching, target combo into another store, depending on which one you prefer, into heavy DP to finish it off. This combo is one of Juri's most damaging combos and can be used in different ways, depending on how you use it. You actually don't even need to jump in to use this combo. However, the one condition that needs to be happening when this combo is occurring is that the opponent must be crouching. If the opponent is not crouching after the medium release, then this combo won't work. Notice how I was able to get that combo, but only at a certain distance and only when the opponent is crouching. Let me show you what happens when the opponent is not crouching in this situation. Notice how the medium punch whiffs. This can only work when they're crouching, so be careful when you use it. Now, I may not show all the advanced or simple combos, but you for sure can create your own combos, so that way you can use them effectively when you learn how to play Juri. Obviously, you can always ask me questions anytime, so feel free to ask me about a combo, and I'll tell you if it works or not. Now, let's talk about overall Juri now that we know her moves, her basic special moves, her reversal, her V system, her combos, as well as advanced combos. Now, Juri can be used different ways. She can be used as a keep away character or a rushdown character, depending on how you play. Juri can be pretty effective at being annoying to the opponent, as well as getting the good damage when she needs it, and being tricky when she can. Remember, use the stores effectively. The stores can be her deadliest weapon or her greatest weakness. If storing incorrectly, the opponent can potentially punish you and for great damage, and you may not be able to get the store. She may not have the best options potentially on defense, but she does possess some new potential when using her. Personally, when I use her, I like to play a little bit more keep away / rushdown. I like to see how the opponent is reacting to what I do, and see if I can catch them off guard with some tricky moveset, or potentially just rush them down. It all depends on how the opponent plays though, so be careful of that. Personally, when I use her, I like to play a little bit more keep away / rushdown. I like to see how the opponent is reacting to what I do, and see if I can catch them off guard with some tricky moveset, or potentially just rush them down. It all depends on how the opponent plays though, so be careful of that. One question to get asked is, just a kid, which store is the most important? I would say, it depends on the character. For example, with Cammy, if she has no bar, I may think I want to store the light version, primarily because she has no projectile invincible option when using it, and it could potentially bait her into a jump, which I then can DP her or anti her with a button. So honestly, depending on the character, and if you like, leave a comment of the character you want to find out about, I'll tell you which store is primarily important, and why I think so. So feel free to ask. And that's it for this video. Make sure to comment, leave a like, and subscribe. Also follow me on my social media, as well as my Twitch. And like that guys, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.